Hello everyone, in this video we will talk about the triangle inequality. So here there's an example about what this inequality is about. So it says if you take 3 straws of lengths 8 inches, 5 inches and 1 inch, you will realize that it is impossible to make a triangle using those straws. So basically triangle inequality theorem says if you take any two sides, random two sides of a triangle, its measure must be greater than the third side. So here we have a triangle with sides A, B and C. So if you take A and B, when you add their measures, it must be greater than the third side. So same thing applies for any of these sides. Just take any two sides, the sum of their measures must be greater than the third side of the triangle. So here is an example. The measures of two sides of a triangle are 5 and 8. Find the range for the length of the third side. So to be able to do that, let's say we have this triangle right here. One side is 5, the other side is 8, this side is x. So when we pair these sides 2 by 2, first one, let's start with 5 plus 8. Its measure must be greater than x. So if you simplify the left side, we have 13 is greater than x. If we choose another pair, like 5 and x, their sum must be greater than 8, sorry. So if we subtract 5 on both sides, we will get x is greater than 3. This is the second inequality, this is the first one. So then there is one possible inequality, so we can pair these two sides. So the sum of these two must be greater than the sum of x and 8 must be greater than 5. If we subtract 8 from both sides, we have x is greater than -3. So this one here, x is greater than -3. So let's just think about what x is. It measures a side. It's a measure of a side, which must be greater than 0. So a side cannot be actually greater than -3. So it should be at least 0. But this one says it is greater than 3. That one says it is less than 13. So this means the answer is going to be, the side x is going to be between 13 and 3. It's going to be longer than 3, shorter than 13. And here is a shortcut about the same example. Instead of just making a list of all the sides, what we can do is, let's say this is the triangle that we have 5, 8 and the last side is 8. All we need to know is the interval of that side. So write it in the middle. It's going to be smaller than a number and greater than another number. So those numbers are coming from these two. Subtract the numbers that you have, add them together. When you add them, you need to write them on the right side. When you subtract them, you need to write them on the left side. So the left side, 8 minus 5 is 3, is going to be less than x, and then x is going to be less than 8 plus 5 is 13. So instead of doing all that work, all you could do is just subtracting and adding the two given side to find an interval for the third side. The first part of the lesson was about finding an interval for a side by using the other two sides. This example here is about determining if it's possible to create a triangle using any of these three numbers. So let's get started with the first one. The sides that we have are 3, 13 and 15. So when we choose any two of these, like 3 and 13, the sum must be greater than, let's put a question mark for now, 15. So let's do the math. Left side is 16, right side is 15. So yeah, if we choose these two, then that means we can create a triangle, but this is not the only option. So we need to test it for the other pairs, like 13 and 15. This must be greater than the last number of the triangle, which is 3. If we add the left side, we have 28, which is greater than 3. Now, we are good to go. Then there's these two also, 3 and 15. 3 plus 15 must be greater than 13. Left side makes an 18, right side is 13. So yeah, all three of these inequalities are right. That means we can create a triangle using these three lengths. The next one here, what we have is 14, 15, and 31. So here's a shortcut. I'm not going to test these inequalities, all of these. So the shortcut is just choosing the shortest two of them. Just choose the shortest ones. When you add these together, if this is greater than the third side, then the others are going to be true anyway. So right now we have 14 plus 15, which makes 29. This was a question mark because we didn't know that. It's not greater than third one. That means we cannot create a triangle. Sorry, it wasn't going to be yes, it was going to be no. We cannot create a triangle using these three numbers. Again, the shortcut is, instead of testing all of these, just choose the shortest two lengths. The shortest two side is 14 and 15 for this triangle. Just add them together and then see if it is greater than 31. So let's do the same thing with this one. They're not in order like the other triangles. So this time we are going to choose the shortest one. The shortest side is 3 and the next one is 9. So if the sum of these two is greater than 17, I put a question mark, we can create a triangle. If not, we cannot. So the left side is 12, which is not greater than 17. That means we cannot create a triangle using these three sides.